guys, okay, welcome to part 2. Okay, so now your task of today is that actually you'll be very honored because you are the only one who will be invited to design the poster for Sports Day. Yay! But we will make it very cool, and through this work I will make you become a star, right? So are you prepared for my challenge? Come on. I'm teaching you what is mind mapping, okay? I think it's more important to get your ideas, okay, rather than we come to the paperwork. So I will take our time, we will do the mind mapping together. I'm going to show you how I do it. So I'm expecting you're going to do it. First of all, in the Google Classroom, based on the PowerPoint, there is a bunch of tags that I ask you to choose. I have selected 5 or 6 different quotes that has meaning to it, so that I want you to choose one of the tags as a base for your poster design. So I've choose one here, is that never stop doing great just because someone didn't give you credits, okay? Because to me, I think Sports Day is not just about the champions. It's about how you break through it, even though maybe you don't got the credits, that means the prize, but you try your best to it, you know you did your best, you are already the champions of your life. Okay, I think that's a very key messages we should express in the Sports Day to talk about what sportsmanship or is more important, right? That's why I choose this one. If you like this one, of course you can choosing this, but don't copy my idea, okay? Okay, so after you have that, then I was thinking about, wow, then you have to be a very what do we call, you have to have the visuals in your mind. So what are the consequences that you're going to come up with? Someone already spent lots of time, but maybe they didn't win the medals. So maybe the sweat they have paid for it, the scarf that they have on the body, you know, all this of imagery. So what I was thinking about is the first images come to me is a water reflections on the sport ground. Remember, like after the rainy days, right? There is the water puddles on the sport ground, and then you saw yourself, the reflections on it, you know. That was thinking about, it's kind of lonely, but it's talking about the hard work you pay on it, even though in rainy day you just keep practicing. That's what the first visual is come to me. And then maybe to me, maybe a wet towel. A towel is very wet and lots of wrinkles because that's is something that you use every day for practicing, you know, like objects that you use every day for your practice. Or maybe a pair of dirty hands, you know, like because you keep rubbing things, like that's our own body, right? And then maybe the sunbeam through the tools. Maybe you spend lots of time playing, maybe, I don't know, like any tool. I was thinking about maybe basketball or maybe racket, you know, like those players playing all day long, and then somehow you put it underneath like a backlight, and then the sun strikes from it, so it's very moody. And then maybe the close-up of your feet because you have been walking for a long time, so you got lots of scarf. Or maybe the tone mark on the tools. And then what I have here is very interesting. What I talk about fish eye and camera angle. And I'm going to show you some of the idea. Once you got the idea, now what you have to do, basically here I have 2 things here. One is the visual images come up to my mind. Okay, the visual image come up in my mind. So maybe this part is not yet like a mind map, it's just a list. Here are the special things, okay? The special effects that maybe you want to play with it, right? So basically I got 2 items here, and then I got my type. Based on that, then I do a lot of Googles and the internet to get some idea, because we are somebody's from visual. Suddenly I found a picture, wow, is that very nice? Someone eyes, okay, and looking into the images they doing it. Basically, actually, nobody can film a picture like this. This is what being photo manipulated by the computers, okay? We use the computers for us as well. And those are the images I was thinking about, like the silhouettes of the people, how they was being very focused. And I'm looking at some of the body's gesture, usually the athletes, they were doing it. And then these are the objects that I was thinking about, like the dirty running shoes, the wet towels, kind of things. Or maybe the images I'm looking at. As I look at the knot, I was thinking about, yes, being a sportsman, you will have a lot of difficult times in your life. How you solved it. We can use this very beautifully and immerse it with the typography. You can imagine, right? And then here I was thinking about, hey, we can play with the what we call the special effects. Okay, how we can use a very extreme close-up shots to have the sense of perspective to talk about move forward, right? And then we can play with the fish eye to exaggerating the movement. And also we can play with, this is pictures taken from 360 camera, so maybe we can make use of it. And of course, you can think about how you can merge with the two images together. So those are some of the apps that maybe we will later on we will be using it to do the rendering at the end. Okay, so after you have all these in your mind, now what you have to do is you have to think about, okay, after I've talked about it, so I need to rearranging these into a system. So now I'm going to show you. Okay, so here is, okay, basically I have an idea here. So I want my images kind of, okay, there must be a figure in it, and he or she needs to be very focused. That's why I have kind of these images with me. Do you got that? So later on you stick that on in one of it. So this would be one of your speech bubbles, because in the mind map this is how we done things, remember? Okay, and then next is going to link up with another speech bubbles on the other side. Okay, and now on the other speech bubbles, maybe in here. So I want it to, except with these, I want it to have metaphor. I want to use metaphor. Metaphor is very important in VA. Okay, a metaphor talking about how, talking about the persistence of the athlete. Okay, we all talk about, so then maybe I will have these shoes, these ties, like that, or even more. Do you get that? So that is the second point. Now, if I need to merge these two together, what I need is, I need something, right? A way how can I link these two together. And now here we have the method. Here we have what we call the method. So in this case, if I'm using merging them together, actually I'm introducing to you an idea of surrealism. If you look at the PowerPoint, you will know what surrealism is. That means actually it's talking about combining things, right, together. That's why if I want to do this, if this is a photography effect, what is called, this is called double exposure. Right, so in this case, this is a double exposure, a method. You can tell this is a figure, the head of a figure, and now here is merged with, actually this shape is actually, I think it's a city. It's a city in the map of a city, but it already got a picture on it. But if you just look at the silhouette of it, it's a map of a city. Right, so it's force-fitting two things together. Like the surrealists, they really like to combining things. But in photography effect, it's called double exposure. Maybe that's one way I can merge that together. So here, that means method 1. I'm going to using these, understand? So then maybe you can have same with these, and then I will have my method 2. Maybe my method 2 is I want to using fish eye. I want to using fish eye, okay? Remember fish eye, right? Play with the fish eye. I want to get the sense of movement to it. This time I want to talk about movement, or maybe you can have the figure. Many times they have tried many times, so you have to have same figure, keep tripping around, but using different fish eye photo. Later on, you're overlapping them a lot in it. Understand? So that's how I work with it. You know, like two images and then what method I'm going to use. Okay, so even though this one is actually a surrealism, if you consider that, because there's no way that we can photograph a picture like this. This was being used computerized. So actually this is called surrealism as well. You got my idea, guys and girls? Once you got the idea, then we can move on.